Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. My name is Asuma and this is how I used to talk in my older videos. I've been watching some of them lately and it just amused me just how monotone and boring I could be, and I didn't know how to put the enthusiasm into the things that I was doing. And I don't know, it just popped into my head when I was about to start recording. I thought, why not? We are playing around with doing different intros at the moment. It just feels a little deja vu doing the whole hello YouTube every time, so I like to change it up. But anyway, let's go down here because I have a new friend to show you. This guy over here, we have another perfect villager. Now, I don't want to do too much more trading, or any really trading on camera anymore. You know, we kind of covered all the different things, but I do have myself a perfect I do have myself. I am not a plural. We have ourselves would be the thing to say there. A perfect librarian. So this guy right here, he has the paper trade at the end, which is awesome. Now he's unlocked all of his trades but the gold one. The gold one has a 0.005% chance of being unlocked. So when I was trading with all of these librarians that we have stocked up over here, I thought, why don't I give it a go? Why don't I try and get myself a perfect one? And the trades that I were worried about were these two right here, because they cost 10 emeralds each, and if they take a long time to unlock, then you know it's going to cost you a lot. But I decided to do it with this guy because it's his third trade and he's got this one, and I thought, well, it's not going to take too many trades to unlock it. And then the ones after that were really cheap. So we have ourselves almost a perfect villager. That gold trade might unlock at some time, but I've been getting tons and tons of emeralds from this guy. Let's go over to the chest and have a look. You can see here we've got our stack of emerald blocks back, and I've got quite a few more emeralds. And if you remember last episode, I figured out that I'd wasted 47 emerald blocks, so we could have had even more here, maybe 2 stacks of emerald blocks. But you may notice these books down the bottom. Let me show you what these are. These are Silk Touch. Now this is good, but it's also bad as well, because this guy over here had the Silk Touch trade, and at the time I didn't have too many emeralds. I did actually have like half a stack of those in this chest, but I wanted to hold on to them for whatever reason, I don't know. But it turns out that this guy refreshed his Silk Touch trade, so I think it cost 14 emeralds. I made quite a few trades on it, and then I unlocked the next one, and I thought, do you know what I'll do? I'll get to the end, I'll get the paper trade, and then I'll come back and I'll trade more Silk Touch with him, because then it'll be nice and easy to get the emeralds. And when I came back to do this, he has of course refreshed that trade, and now we have Flame 1, which I don't want, which is useless. Oh, it's a real shame, because that Silk Touch trade is amazing. And I think what I'll do is I'll keep recycling through these guys and try and get more of them, and just see if any others come up with a Silk Touch trade. But I think it's going to be quite some time before we find another one of those. So these books, they were going to be, you know, loads of them basically. I would have filled up chests full of these books, but now we only have, how many there? 6. So we've got to be careful about where we use them. Now I don't need them on picks, I don't need them on shovels. I've already got picks and shovels with those. So the only thing I can think of that these need to go on are shears, and then you'd have to put unbreaking on them as well, so it might take me some time to get an unbreaking book. But anyway, that's about everything. We're not going to be doing too much stuff with these villagers anymore. I might look into doing some trading with the priest in the future, but as of right now I think it's time to take a break from doing all this. And I've been using this guy, you know, getting lots of emeralds with him, and I've been using this guy as well to get myself some tools. And I've been busy outside. In fact, I've been very busy. I wanted to do a lot more in here, but I just haven't had the time, you know, things in real life getting in the way. But if we have a look in here, I've got tons and tons of tools now, and I've actually gone through all of these shovels a couple of times working outside. And I can go down, I can do some paper trading and trade with the blacksmith and get myself those tools to repair them, which is great. And it is night outside, so let's just go over here and sleep in this bed. Piggy Wiggy! Piggy Wiggy! This guy has been everywhere. I've seen this guy all over the place. I've seen him in the sugarcane farm. I've seen him over that side of the wastelands when I was making it. And there's just been this roaming pig, who's been going around doing whatever he wants. And I think we've got to give that guy a name tag at some point. He's been awesome. He's been the survivor of the wastelands. Where am I going? I'm completely losing track of what I'm doing here. Let's just go over here. I can't sprint, which is annoying me. And you can see up there is a little zombie fella. Now he has been there for quite some time. I don't know when exactly he came around and started standing around here, but that's all he does. He's picked up his sugarcane. He just stands here. Occasionally he looks around a bit, and that's all he's doing. He's like a tame little zombie. Look, I can walk right up to him. I'm kind of afraid to push him too far along though, because he might sort of realise that I'm standing here and then want to come and attack me. But I don't know what's going on with this guy. Maybe he's tracking the villagers and can't pathfind to them or something, but... Oh, there's two of them. Where'd this guy come from? Hey, little guy. Are you also friendly? I think you are. Ah, he's so cute. Not really, he's got a big green ugly nose. Well, we got two of them now. I think I'll leave them be. Oh, that's so random. Anyway, as I said, I've been busy, and I did spend some time, you know, working on the desert area. I've just been clearing as much sand from this area over here as I can. So, all of this was cleared, I think last time we had a look at it. I've cleared more going all the way over to the edge of the wastelands over there, and then I've started clearing all the way up to the corner up there. So if I throw an ender pearl and we just go over there and have a closer look, you can see the edge of the wastelands area over there. Oh, goddamn sprint bug. I think in 1.7 they added a sprint key. Pretty sure they did. I'm going to look forward to that. So yeah, you can see where I've cleared it all the way up to the edge there, and I've actually missed a little block of sand blocks right there. But yeah, slow process doing this. Haven't had much time to do it, but we are making progress. I think I'm just going to clear a really large amount of sand before I do my next dig and pick up all of this sandstone. And a lot of you have been commenting about the wastelands, saying that we need to actually have more slopes and a variation. Ugh, it broke. Let's kill this guy. There we go, easy, one hit kill. Well, with the arrow. Yeah, lots of suggestions about adding different heights to this area, and you know what, I think it's a good idea to add a bit of height variation. So when we go over in those directions, it's a lot more hilly, and we'll try and keep some of those hills in. And over here as well, it does get a little bit hilly, as you can see here. This comes up a bit higher, so although we've flattened out a lot of the area around the central bit, which I think is a good thing, because then you get a good view of everything going on around, we'll try and keep some hilly areas in the future. Now, I've seen lots of comments about creating some like spikes or terrain features. I've got ideas for those. Spikes was one of them. Using mossy cobblestone in places was another, and also coal and ore veins, because I have tons and tons of coal and ore blocks which I'm never really going to use, so I thought, why don't I use them for decoration in the wastelands biome. So one of the ideas that I had was maybe you'd see like a coal vein come out of the ground a little bit and then go back down, and then it would appear somewhere else. So we can put down lots of coal and ore blocks out there and use them for aesthetics in a sort of biome environment, which is a really interesting use of them. Anyway, what are we going to be doing now? I have no idea. I think I've talked about all I wanted to talk about for now. We should head over to the Dig for Hire shop and find out if I have a job or not. Nope is the answer. We do not have work to do at the Dig for Hire shop. Someone gave me the impression they were going to be putting in a request, but maybe they just haven't got around to doing that, so we might have a digging job to do in the near future. But there's something else that I want to show you right now. Now, in the comments on the previous episode, a lot of you were talking about the Wastelands temple we have right here, suggesting that I should change the materials that this is built with, make it out of mossy cobblestone and things like that. And I've got to say, I'm no longer going to be changing this. You know, I changed it up a few times. It is now big enough for us to do our operations in, and this thing is only temporary anyway. So it's staying how it is for now, and one day we'll be tearing it down. But another thing in the comments on the previous episode, a really, really good suggestion that I very much liked. Now, it's going to be a little bit flawed because I haven't started doing this from the beginning, but the suggestion was to keep track of how many diamonds we save by doing this. So each one of these is worth 4 diamonds, and we could add that all up and keep count of how many diamonds doing this trading stuff is going to save us. Now, we've got some gear up the top here. I'm wearing some of the gear that I've already got from trading with these guys, and I think what I want to do to start off with is like an estimate. Now, if any of you are thinking of doing trading, then you're going to do your perfect blacksmith, then keep note of this, because it's going to be really interesting over time to see how big this number is going to get, you know, the amount of diamonds that we will save over time. So what I'm going to do is go around and estimate how many I've used so far. I know I've repaired my shovels a couple of times. I think I made about 5 or 6 picks recently and enchanted and repaired those. So I'm just going to go around and try and estimate how many diamonds it is I've actually saved so far. So you guys know, whenever it comes to numbers, I always like to get you guys to guess. So you can have a guess right now. You don't have to post a comment if you don't want to. But how many diamonds do you think I've saved? Now, I don't know the exact amount because I haven't been keeping track. I've tried to make a very good estimate. I've thought about all of the trades that I've made. If you're wondering where the glass went here, I thought I'd put that in the middle and then the iron block kind of blocked the chest at the top, so I thought, oh, I'll just put it over here. Yeah, I've tried to be as accurate as I can, thought about all the different trades I've made since I unlocked this guy, all the ones I've made in the past, all the ones I've made with this guy. Now, we kept track of that in the last episode, so I added up all of those, and I looked in the chest up here and I figured out which ones were from some of my previous trading. So I think the number that I've got is actually fairly accurate, but I'd guess, if anything, it's probably going to be more than this. So anyway, let's have a look. 270 is the number. I'm going to put dirt in here for every representation of a diamond, so that adds up to 270 right there. That is a hell of a lot of diamonds. That is more than I have right now, although I did think that, you know, I wouldn't have gone and crafted 30 diamond boots, for example, so I probably could have afforded everything that I've used so far, considering a lot of this just sits in a chest unchanted and I wouldn't have crafted it. However, over time we are well and truly going to overtake the amount of diamonds that I've mined for in terms of how many of these we're going to be using, because we're going to be trading with this guy to get tons of gear for other people, not just myself, which I will talk about later in this episode. Let's just put that glass back, by the way. And I can't remember if I mentioned it. I will mention it again. There we go. I knew I had some glass somewhere around here. I put the daylight sensors in because I saw lots of comments about people saying that you needed to put a carpet here to stop the little zombies getting in. Now the thing with putting a carpet down is that trick works when you have a fence post underneath, because the carpet doesn't actually have a hitbox. We should probably check that. I think it has a hitbox, but when you stand on it, it doesn't raise your height. Let me just grab some carpet. Okay, so let's put a fence post under this, because a fence post, although it looks like it takes up one block, it has a hitbox that is 1.5, so when we walk over it we go a little bit higher. Now if you put the carpet on top of that, it looks like it's that tall, however that effect still happens, and so that's why people think it blocks the little zombies from coming through. Now if we press F3 and walk across here, you'll see that our height stays exactly the same. When we walk over this we go up by half a block, and that's the Y number that you're looking at there. So a little zombie this wouldn't block, it would actually go straight through, and the only reason that it's worked in the past is because you have the fence post underneath, and we don't have a fence post here, so I thought I'd put down the daylight sensor, which I'm pretty sure you definitely increase your height when you stand on top of. Yeah, there you go, 0.375. So that's going to keep the little zombies out when we update to 1.7. So right now you are watching some footage of me building a nether tunnel. Now this is something that I had to do, and building a nether tunnel isn't that interesting unless you're going to make a nice fancy one. So there are a few things I wanted to talk about, and I've been really busy lately, so I needed to get this nether tunnel done. I thought, you know what, I'll make it into a time lapse and I'll talk about these things over the top of it. So I have interesting news regarding 1.7. We've had a few meetings and we've got a good idea of what we want to do when 1.7 comes out. So this is partly why I'm making this nether tunnel, because we need to be able to get to the new terrain. So I'm going to build the nether tunnel, put the nether portal at the end. Obviously I'm not going to light it just in case someone, you know, goes exploring and goes through it. In fact, I should really leave a sign saying, you know, don't activate this portal. But then when 1.7 comes out and we update to it, then we can go through that nether portal and go into the new area. Now I don't know when 1.7 is coming out, but I feel it could be soon. You never really know with Mojang. They don't tell you, you know, like in a snapshot when they release one, when the next one's coming out or how long they think it is till 1.7 is out. So it could be a matter of weeks or it could be a matter of months, and I've got a feeling that it's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to get this nether tunnel out of the way, so when that comes out we're ready to go into this new area. And the new area we've already had a look at as well. We made a server that had the same seed and it generated all of the world in 1.7, and we flew around and looked at a few different locations and we really liked this one. So I'm not going to tell you too much about it. It has some of the new biomes nearby, and it's a really nice location where we're going to be building a new hermit town, which is what we're working on at the moment, you know, organising building a hermit town. We're going to try and make one even better than the one we had last time. It's going to be in the new biomes, and in general I'm really excited for it. So I needed to get this nether tunnel done, you know, so we can go over there when 1.7 comes out, and as I said, I don't know when that does come out. There's a few other things that I've got to do which are quite time consuming as well. One of them is to go into creative mode. Now I'm not going to do that on this account. I'm going to bring in a second account, and obviously I'm not going to go around spawning diamonds or anything like that. I'm only going into creative world so I can teleport around the map, and I'm going to teleport to all of the structures that there are, like the witch huts and things like that, because we are in 1.6.4 and I thought it would be a good idea to update and then go around myself, but I just haven't had the time to explore in survival mode. So I think the best thing to do is just to make a list of where all the structures are and teleport to them one by one so that they're saved. Now I need to do the same thing in the nether as well, which is going to be even more time consuming because there's fortresses all over the place, but hopefully I'll get all of that done before 1.7 comes out. So I've got a lot of work to do, as well as keeping up with making all of these videos and running my server. It's just been really crazy lately, and there's been all kinds of things going on. And I must remember to say we have the quad witch hut on the server as well. So another really good reason to visit structures is because we want to save that. I don't think anyone's actually visited it yet. I think someone might have, but if we don't go and visit it while we're in 1.6.4, then we're going to lose that, and that's a project that I think a few of us are looking forward to doing in the future. So the next thing that I want to talk about is a show that Biffa's doing called Tea Time with Biffa. Now I think a lot of you watching will be interested in this because it is about the Minecraft community. It's about running a YouTube channel and making videos, and Biffa is offering up a lot of advice and tips and tricks on how to do those things. And I know there's a lot of aspiring YouTubers watching these videos. That's kind of how it goes in the Minecraft community. It's the way I got started. I was watching someone else and I thought, do you know what, I'd like to do this myself. And so I thought you'd find this series very useful because there's lots of useful information, and also there are interviews with YouTubers as well. And for his first episode he interviewed me. I was honoured to be a guest, and I went on there and I offered up some advice about YouTube. So if you are interested in watching that, there's always a link on the screen and in the description box, and I think you guys are really going to like it, so go over there and check it out. It's a really good show. So the last thing that I'm going to be talking about is the Wither farm. Now I was reading the comments on the last video, seemed like some people were really excited to see that project and were hoping to see me build it this episode, which unfortunately I won't be. That is going to be a massive build, but of course we have to design the farm first. So me and Mumbo have been working on it. It's not just been me and Mumbo though, we've been working on it with Deco the Redstoner as well. And it's taken us some time, but at the moment we have a design that looks really interesting. Now I'm not sure if it's the one that I'm going to use, but you know, I want to get this done as soon as possible, so hopefully I will have a design that I will be using. And I am really excited because, as I've said before, I've got a trick up my sleeve that I think is going to make this Wither farm really good for getting Wither skulls. So I'm really eager to do it. It just takes some time to design it. You know, it could end up taking a couple of weeks. There's a lot of different ways of making farms. You want to test them and make them efficient, and you know, the most spawning area, and there's all sorts of things that go into it. So it may take a little bit of time, but as soon as that design is done, I'll be building it here on Hermitcraft. So hopefully it won't take too long to get that done. So it has taken me quite some time, but this is now finished, and I didn't have a lot of time to do this or to think about the design either, and I realised after doing this that I've made a bit of a mistake. But I'll explain that to you. So we put half slabs in the middle, 3 wide, so that horses could go through here and mobs couldn't spawn. And then on the left hand side we've got ice for fast travel, which mobs also can't spawn on. And on the right hand side we have the rails, which at the time I thought mobs can't spawn on those. Of course they can. What they can't do is walk across them. So they can actually spawn on a rail which they can't walk across. And I think that causes them to just stand still, which is kind of a nuisance, because if you're going down in your minecart and you bump into a mob, it might send you back on its way. But I'm not 100% sure because I don't use minecarts all the time, and they're always changing the game and fixing little bugs and stuff, and so sometimes the behaviour of things changes. But I did have a look at it. I could put half slabs at this height here, and then that means the player would go through it and it would stop mobs spawning. However, these levers would be in the way, so every so often I had to dig all this up, put the lever underground to power this block, and it would just be such a pain, and I really don't have the time to do that. But this tunnel goes in that direction for about 400 blocks, and maybe I'll get some time in the future to actually put those half slabs in place. Now at the end of the tunnel there is a portal that is 3 by 3, so it can't be lit just yet, but I'm also going to go down there and put a sign saying, you know, don't light up the portal, it's for 1.7. There's some chests down the end as well, and I think I need to add a sign at this end because we don't have one. People might just see this and not know what it's for, so we'll put a sign up here or somewhere saying that this is the tunnel for 1.7. So as well as doing that, I had time to do something over at the bone farm as well, which I talked about in the previous episode, I think. I don't know. And that is remove all of the blocks that were emitting light, because a lot of people were saying in the comments that although mobs can spawn in light level of 7 or below, that light level still affects the mob spawning rate. So I went over there and removed all of the jack-o'-lanterns. I can't really tell if it's made too much difference to the rates. It doesn't seem like it has. But I've removed those, and I've also named our skeleton as well. So here we are at the bone farm. You can see it is a lot darker in there, and it seems like the rates have been increased. There's always 4 or 5 skeletons at the front here drowning, whereas before it was often a lot less than that. So I'm going to do an AFK test, see how much bone meal we get, and I've got a feeling it's going to be a lot faster. But this guy over here, I asked all of you to name him, which I have done, and we can't see his name at the moment. Now my first thought was because we had the blocks above him, so let's remove those. Still can't see his name, and the reason why is because you actually have to look at him, and right now we're looking at the glass block. So if we hop up here, you can see his name is Mr. Bones. Now I really like this one. This was a great suggestion because the Mr. isn't a title, it's actually the name Mr. And I don't know, I like that. It just has a nice look and a ring to it. So Mr. Bones, pretty cool name for this guy right here, except we can't actually see his name. Now one of the other great suggestions was to call this guy Han Solo, because before he was trapped in the ice, and in the movies Han Solo gets frozen in some sort of ice-like thing. And so I thought that was a really cool suggestion, but I decided to go with the glass because I thought it would look better. And I think if this guy had the name tag like he does at the moment and he was pushed in the ice, we still wouldn't be able to see it. But that is something, I guess, that needs to be tested. Now my worry here is that we're never really actually going to be able to see this guy's name now, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah. One of the other things I thought of was we could remove the glass at the front, so then when you look at him you'll see his hitbox and then the name will appear, except then he'll be able to shoot you. And if we do the same thing at the bottom here, you know, you can look at his legs but his name doesn't appear when you do that, which is unfortunate. So we didn't have a lot of time to get too much done this episode, but what we did do is really important, because that 1.7 transition, it could be at any time, so we got that nether tunnel out of the way, and I still have a hell of a load more stuff to do, like flying around in creative mode and loading up all the structures. That is going to take a long time as well, so it's a bit of a shorter episode than usual. I hope you don't mind, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.